Today we are going to be creating a landscape project based on the artist Mattie Lou O'Kelly. Mattie Lou O'Kelly was an American folk artist. She grew up on a 129-acre farm in Georgia where her family raised cotton, corn, and hay. As an adult, O'Kelly worked a variety of jobs like waitressing and sewing for others before becoming a painter in her 50s. She had no formal training in painting and had left school in the 9th grade to help her family on the farm. Her favorite subject matter is to use landscapes that depict the turn of the 19th century farm life, just how her childhood was. So let's get started. We're going to begin by drawing a house right in the center of your page. Now, I'm just showing you some examples, but you can make your house however you would like. Make sure that you add great details onto your house as well. Now, maybe you want to draw your house different, and that's fine with me. I am going to show you an example of a house like Mattie Lou O'Kelly's from one of her paintings. Once you get the basic outline for your house, you can then start adding the details. What details would you add to your house? You'd probably need a door, some windows maybe. Once you complete all your details, we're ready to move on to the next step. Since Mattie Lou O'Kelly lived and farmed a lot of acres of land, we're going to make sure we draw all those hills and all the land that she would have lived on. We're just kind of drawing in and splitting up the sections here. Then we're going to take a black marker and very finely outline your house. You want to use the very tippy top of your marker to trace around your details. Once you complete that step, you're going to use the side of the marker because that creates very thick lines. And we're going to trace over our pencil lines that were for the hills for the field. Now we're going to add in some trees. Now watch very carefully how I draw these. I'm just drawing right over top of the lines. It's very small at the top and gets bigger on the bottom. Make sure your branches are stretching up towards the sky as if your trees want to hug the sun. Did you notice that I drew the next tree smaller? Well, the reason behind that is because we are creating the illusion of space. When things are further back, they are going to look smaller. So make sure that you are creating that illusion of space by creating your trees to be smaller the further back they go on your hills. Once you've completed that, you can trace with a black marker. Those trees that are up close are a lot thicker, so make sure you fill them in. Now that you have your trees filled in and traced with your black marker, you're going to go around the trees with little dots, as if the dots are leaves. Because this big tree is closest, I'm going to make larger dots. And they're going to get smaller and smaller with every tree the further back it goes, because we're still creating that illusion of space. Now we're going to begin by adding some lines. Choose a couple sections where you can add curved or straight parallel lines as if the fields have been plowed. If you draw these parallel lines further on the back of your page, your lines will be closer together because that illusion of space. You can also add other details like fencing or animals for your landscape. Keep in mind that the objects are closer will be larger and the objects that are further away will be smaller. We want to use a limited palette because that's going to give your landscape a folk art feel. We're going to be using analogous colors. Analogous colors touch each other on the color wheel. So I have the greens, yellows, and oranges because these all touch each other on the color wheel. You don't have to use the same colors I did. As long as they are analogous colors, you will be following this project perfectly. Remember, analogous colors are colors that touch each other on the color wheel.